Hey everybody, this is Glidercat and it's time to play. Today I've got a first look at an upcoming game called Havendock. Now regulars of the Glidercat channel already know that I spend a tremendous amount of time researching upcoming games looking for the gems. And when I find one, I share with you in these first look or early preview videos. I recently came across Havendock during that research and it's really quite fantastic. I knew pretty much instantly that I needed to share it with you. So fortunately, the developer granted my request for a press key, and here we are. Havendock is a game where you build a colony out in the middle of the sea. You start on a tiny platform and go on to scavenge materials to construct a huge deck upon which your colony grows. Now, at time of this recording, Havendock has a page on Steam, so you can wishlist and follow it there if you like, but it's not yet available for sale on Steam. You can purchase the game on itch.io or even play for free on crazygames.com. I'll put all the relevant links in the description for you so you can check those out. Now let's take a look at the trailer for Havendock and then we'll come back and talk more about it. Here we go with that trailer. So that was a trailer and it gives you a good sense of what this game is all about. I think the visuals, by the way, are absolutely fantastic and there's a tremendous attention to detail that's been put into Havendock and it just really shines through as you play. Now at this point, I should mention that I have a short Let's Play series featuring Havendock that will post to the Glidercat channel shortly after this first look video posts. So be on the lookout for that if you want to see more of the actual gameplay. Now the Steam description for Havendock reads as follows. It says, Havendock is a simulation game where you build a town in the middle of the sea. Reach self-sufficiency, invite travelers to join you, then manage their needs and research new facilities to keep them happy. Build a submarine and discover islands to produce increasingly complex resources. So as I mentioned at the top, you start on a tiny island and begin building a small platform using resources that are floating by. Now in that sense, it's kind of a bit like Raft or similar games where you retrieve and make use of like flotsam and junk that's floating by you out in the middle of the ocean. And once you have your initial platform in place, you continue to collect scrap resources from the ocean and use them to craft simple machines on top of your platform. Like most survival games, you're going to need to look out for your hunger and thirst. Fortunately, at least in the early experimental version of Havendock that I played, the hunger and thirst bars deplete pretty slowly, so it's not much of a chore to keep those maintained. You know, it's a common complaint of many survival games that the health and hunger bars deplete too fast. So it's really nice to see that that's not the case here. It's really, I think, a nice level of depletion where it's not tedious, but it is something you got to keep an eye on. Now, as you progress and expand your platform and build machines to take care of your basic needs, you'll begin to meet other survivors, including traders and others that are just interested in joining your colony. As you bring new settlers into your town, you can assign them to perform specific tasks. Now, if you don't assign them anything to work on, they'll walk around your town doing random jobs that need to get done, which is nice. You don't have to worry about necessarily assigning everybody to a given task. They won't just sit idle. They'll go do something. Now, some jobs are more risky than others for your settlers. For example, one of the jobs in your colony is that of a diver. Now, divers retrieve resources for you that are below the surface of the water, such as fish, sand, and iron ore. And occasionally, a diver will become injured while working and will no longer be able to do any job in your colony until they're healed up. Well, they can only get healed if you have a medical bed available and a supply of medicine. So the bed is unlocked from the tech tree, and it requires some special materials to create. It's like feathers and, believe it or not, vegetables. I think it was. And you won't immediately have the ability to make your own medicine either. So you're going to need to hope that a trader visits your little village soon and has some medicine available for you to purchase or trade for. Now, in the meantime, your injured settler will just kind of limp around your colony moaning. I think they'll still eat and they'll still rest, but they're not going to do any work, and they're not going to heal on their own until they get that bed and that medicine. So you can see there's a good amount of complexity in Havendock and a bunch of different materials for you to harvest, grow, and or manufacture as you build out your village. You can get a feel for how many different items there are by visiting the in-game wiki. So here I believe it's a list of all the materials in the game, along with helpful descriptions of what they are, how you go about obtaining them, and what they're used for. So that is super, super helpful. Also very helpful is the guidebook. And the guidebook contains several animated tutorials that explain the key mechanics of the game. Now, this information pops up as you play the game kind of automatically like a tutorial, but you can always revisit the guidebook if you forget how something works. So that's kind of cool, and I like it when a game has a tutorial. Okay, we're about to wrap up this first look, but let's cover a couple more items. First, Havendock includes a pretty good-sized tech tree for you to work through. Now, each item on the tech tree requires you to produce unique resources in order to unlock it. It doesn't take much time to do the research, at least not in the version I'm playing. There are all kinds of items in here, from simple things like new crop types you can grow, like wheat, all the way up to robots, which you can unlock later in the game. Lastly, it's clear that the developers of Havendock, aside from having great artistic talent, I love the looks of this game again, but they also have a sense of humor, as you can see from this footage. There's a dance floor here, which increases the happiness of your settlers, and you might also notice some of the funny costumes that your settlers wear. Not all of them, but a few will wear some funny costumes. There's a Santa Claus in there. There's some guy wearing a superhero outfit. It's really quite funny. I've had a lot of fun playing Havendock. I've played for about, I'd say, 4 or 5 hours so far. I'm not done playing. It's a ton of fun. I love the graphics. I love the sense of humor. Definitely check out the links in the description if you like what you see in this video. So that wraps up my first look of Havendock. Let me just remind you that I'll be posting a short Let's Play season of Havendock shortly after this first look video post. It'll probably be in a day or two after, and we'll get into much more detail about the game in that series. I want to thank Glidercat patrons and channel members for their support of the channel. Without that support, this content simply would not be possible. So thank you, patrons, and thank you, channel members. Deeply appreciate it. If anyone would like to join that small but very appreciated group of people in supporting the channel, there are links to do so in the description, and I'd be grateful for the support. Lastly, if you enjoy learning about promising upcoming games just like Havendock, then I strongly recommend at least browsing the games in my first look playlist. It's loaded with cool upcoming games, and I know you'll find more than one in that list that piques your interest. As I mentioned at the top of this video, as soon as I find a game that I'm really interested in and want to share, that first look playlist is usually where it lands first on the channel. So it's a good thing to check on from time to time. And with that, this is Glidercat saying thanks so much for watching. I mean it. I really mean it. And I'll see you in the next one.